Robbie Weeds here. Got an example of some giant crabgrass. Very similar to smooth crabgrass. The pale color, it's growing where the pre-emergent is broken down along the edge of a bed next to some turf where the weed whackers or the pre-emergents in the beds had some disruption. Usually a weed whacker will break up right along the edge here, and it'll disrupt the barrier that the pre-emergent created. You can see there's some other broadleaf, some clover, some white clover, dandelion that also popped up. So obviously the barrier's broken down here. The difference between the giant crabgrass and the smooth crabgrass is the elongation of the shoots in between the nodes here. Gets a little longer, and at the center here it's growing out now. This can get confusing with goosegrass. Goosegrass also grows very prostrate, very flat to the ground. Mowers will glide right over top of goosegrass and it'll grow flat, completely flat. You could cut over for weeks and never hit any of the blades of grass just because of how flat it grows. Goosegrass does get way whiter in the center. That's the main identifying factor of goosegrass. It'll be bright white right in the center. So that's the difference between goosegrass and giant crabgrass. If you got into the vegetative traits, there's a couple different ones that you could look for, but I'm not going to get into that at the moment. Just how this giant crabgrass looks, the folded vernation, you know, and the mid vein through the leaf has a little bit of hairs on the along the shoots. But again, this is going to be the same control as smooth crabgrass. I like to use quinclorac with methylated seed oil, crop seed oil. That gets me usually great control. You know, if you got control, it'll either die, but if it turns red, that means that it'll more than likely need a second application. Like I mentioned before, very early crabgrass and very mature crabgrass, you can kill any tiller stage in between 2 and 5 tiller stage. It's going to need a second application. You can't kill it with one application. So you want to make sure you get out there early, or you're going to need to get more than one application down. That's if you're using selective herbicides. Obviously, if you spray this with Roundup in a bed, if you're lucky enough you don't have any in the turf, you can use glyphosate and wipe it out. But if you're using selective herbicides in the turf, you're going to, in the tiller stages more than 2 or 3, you're going to need sequential applications. Robbie Weeds out.